Okay. Testing, testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2. All right. So, hi guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. I did. Very busy week though, as always. But I'm glad to have you guys back, and I'm glad to be drawing and creating with you. And today, I want to talk about, this video is going to be focused on artist block in 10 different ways. I have 10 different ways of avoiding artist block. And I've written them all down for you, and I want to share them with you. So that way, if you happen to be in an artist block, or you're going through just a really frustrating time of if they're looking for fresh, original content, art to create, well, I'm here to help. I'm here to share this with you, and I hope you get a lot out of this video, and I hope this video is quite helpful towards you. Before I go on though, I just want to tell you to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Click the like button and the notification button, so that way you can receive all the videos when new videos do come out. You'll know when they're coming. And as well, when this video is over, please share this video by all means if this has been a quite beneficial help to you, and that share it to anyone that you feel that would actually get help for this video. All right, let's go. Okay, so number 1. Our first one on the list is painting landscapes from picture references. And the picture references that we are going to be using for this, you can find any painting, like any landscape picture from Unsplash, from Pexel, even from Pinterest. There's some pictures, however, that you cannot use from Pinterest, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But just to make sure, if you actually are, this is one of the first, really one of the first easy ones to break that artist block, and that's doing landscape paintings or drawings. And you can do this through going on unsplash.com, Pexels.com. These are websites that are royalty-free, for commercial use, and they are pretty much like public domain. I mean, you can use this. You can use this without having to attribute to the photographer or the artist. And there are different ideas in doing a landscape series. Whatnot, and you can do like paintings or drawings focused on like a castlescape series, doing pictures of castles that actually really do exist in our world. There's tons of castles that are in the UK, in the continent of Europe. And there's tons of pictures of those castles on these websites. You can do realscapes, or realscape series, a mountainscape series. And with the realscape series, you can do like, particular types of drawings or paintings focused on red barns, a red barn series, focusing on like the just idyllic, ethereal scape of of a country farms, like farmscapes, farm paintings, farm fields and crops, whatnot. Anything you can focus on, woodlandscapes, treescapes, beautiful ethereal forest, woods, trees, different types of amazing trees, whatnot. The list goes on, and this is a really good way of breaking out of your artist block. If you're just like, I don't know what to draw, I don't know what to paint, this is your go-to. And I'm telling you, painting landscapes every single time, and there's so many subgroups for your landscape series that you can go into and can go on and on and on and on, that you'll be able to post on Instagram. Hey, these are some new landscapes that I'm working on. I thought I needed to actually really hone my skills and, you know, just practice my skills on painting more more landscapes and whatnot. And here's like some my castles landscapes, and here is my woodland landscapes. And what you're able to do with these, you can actually put these on Instagram. Sometimes you can also even just turn around and you can sell them, making sure that you actually are painting from, these are unsplash.com or pixels.com, or actually taking the picture yourself. Because I really think it's really very important, you guys. You know, and I know we're all Pinterest, you know, fans. We're really big Pinterest fans. You know, if you're an artist, you're a Pinterest, you know, fan, and that's your go-to. That's my go-to. And there's so many beautiful, beautiful pictures and references and photography of different types of, you know, things that, oh gosh, I would love to make that into a painting. I would love that to make it into a color pencil drawing, whatnot. But you really have to be careful in that sense, because understand that there are a lot of photographers who post their work on Pinterest, and they created that work. And there are some photographers who will not allow you to take their work and, like, you know, repaint it or whatnot. You're really going into a liability area. And unless those photographers put them on websites, on Splash, Pexels, iStock, whatnot, etc. And I will actually post a lot of those links below to the websites that are for commercial use. Not, you can actually pretty much use without attributing to the artist. There are photographers who will allow you to actually use their work without attributing to them. Stick to those websites, guys. Be really be careful from Pinterest. Not to say you can. I'm not saying that you can't use photos from Pinterest, but be careful about going about that and using that, because there are artists, photographers who actually don't like you using their work unless you get permission or they've given you permission to do so. Awesome. All right, going on to number 2. Number 2, painting or drawing 10 portraits or so from reference pictures from Unsplash or Pexels. And this one's really, you know, a good one to do. If you don't like doing landscapes, you want to focus more on people, on doing features and noses and eyes and just a whole, like a portrait, you know, really building your portrait skills. Please, by all means, unsplashpexels.com website. Well, these websites, again, will actually serve your purposes well. Doing a series of men with beards, doing just a whole series of women with red hair. And I've been to both of these websites, and they do have pictures of different types of people that look like, you know, if you want to do mustaches, with beards, men with long gray beards. I love drawing and painting men with long gray beards. I love it. I love it. I love it. Watercolor, color pencil, paintings. I love doing those all. And I also love doing pictures of women with red hair. My mom was a redhead when she was born with strawberry blonde hair, and she, as an adolescent and into early adulthood, she had red hair. And in her pictures when she was ill, I mean, you could tell, it was awesome to see that. But as she got older, you know, what happens to red hair? A lot of people actually, their red hair starts going darker. But I have this like special place in my heart toward like redheads, and I love drawing and painting them. So that's just an idea of what you can do with different types of portraits. Reference pictures, you can actually do close-up pictures of eyes, of noses. they do have those things on there. If you want to pay particular, there's a series of all these things that you can do. It is endless. So number 3, going on to number 3, painting or drawing, doing a self-portrait series of yourself. And this one's such as an easy peasy one. Come on. You don't have to worry about going on to like, oh, Pinterest or picking out a website that's best suited for you for Unsplash or Pexels. This is something you completely do as self-sustained. You can do it on your own by just simply grabbing your phone, your iPhone, or your camera that you have on hand and shoot away. Shoot to your heart's content, doing selfies of yourself. Making sure that, you can do whatever type of setup that you want. You can do a selfie portrait, or you can actually do a little bit professional setup where you're doing like a self-portraiture, where there is a meter that's on your phone, on your camera, where you can set it up to be like that if you want to do that. And if you happen to be a person that owns costumes, you can do a cosplay costume series of you dressing up, wearing costumes, taking selfies of yourself, and drawing and painting from that. And I'm going to tell you this whole self-portraiture series that you can actually do. It is an absolute game changer, and it opens up so many other doors for you to do like a video series, to do Instagram series, a challenge, whatnot, for people who are following you on Instagram. If you happen to have, a YouTube channel, whatnot, this is really, you can do a self-portrait series, a self-portrait challenge, and you're challenging your audience to do a self-portrait with you. And it's just a great way to engage with your audience. So cosplay, you can do cosplay costumes, and also if you don't have any costumes, like what I don't have costumes at the moment. I love costumes and I don't have them, but what I can do is I can do hyper-realism close-ups of myself, self-portraits, and I'm going to actually be starting that really soon for the summer. I'm going to be doing like a realism close-up series of myself, whether it's going to be oil paint, color pencil, watercolor, what have you. So those are just some options for you to do for self-portrait. Number 4. Okay, we're at 13. Okay. Number 4, reimagining of fairy tale characters. Now this one's a little bit tricky, because if you want to do paintings or drawings, whether that you're doing in Procreate, Photoshop, digitally or traditionally, reimagining of fairy tale characters that we all know, whether that be Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, I know Little Mermaid, my goodness, Beauty and the Beast, the list goes on and on. I will tell you, this is something you have to do a little bit more digging, because you're reimagining. You're drawing or painting a picture of a very well-known character, and that you have actually grown up seeing, watching films like Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, Sleeping Beauty. And I will tell you, when Walt Disney, he bought the rights, I think it was like in the 1930s, 1940s, Walt Disney bought the rights to all the Hans Christian Andersen, I believe it's the Brothers Grimm. The Brothers Grimm had actually written all of these, like, when they wrote all of their stories down, it was more or less focused to the Germanic perspective of fairy tales and folklore. That's more particularly how the German culture, their version of Cinderella, their version of Snow White, their version of Sleeping Beauty. It wasn't something that they actually created themselves, but these were stories that were passed down orally for hundreds of years, and they decided to collect them and put it into a book that, people of German origin could read to their, children, whatnot. And it was their version of Sleeping Beauty, their version of Cinderella. And it wasn't like their stamp. There was this perspective, and back during those times when it came to household fairy tale lore, it was their perspective, their version of the story. Now, when Walt Disney came along and he bought the rights to, like, I don't know, Pinocchio, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and he bought them, automatically, when you see a picture of, for Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella today, the iconographic image of Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella, what first comes to mind? It's going to be of that 1959 version of Sleeping Beauty, Aurora, long blonde hair. Same thing with Snow White, very short black hair with the puff sleeves and the lipstick, whatnot. Because before then, guys, I want to tell you, before those films were made, there really wasn't a staple image to go with any of those like princesses. Walt Disney made these princesses. The Disney company made these princesses what we refer to today, because before then there were just illustrations done by individualistic artists, and different illustrations of books coming through, Hans Christian Andersen, the Brothers Grimm, and through particular types of countries where that artist came from. So they really wasn't a staple image of what these people look like until Disney came along. But what you can do with these characters, with these princesses, knights, queens, dragons, whatnot, that even through, J.R.R. Tolkien, whatnot, and the Lord of the Rings, whatnot, that you can take you can do a reimagined series. Like, this is my version of Cinderella. This is my version of Sleeping Beauty. But when you put those out there on Instagram, and when you share this, please make sure that you are actually putting those down as your version, reimagined versions, because it gets a little tricky when you say this is Cinderella or this is, Sleeping Beauty, whatnot. Make sure that you put that down, because, if you actually sell too many of those, paintings or drawings, like into the $1 million mark, I will tell you that Disney will come a knocking, and they'll be like, okay, all right, let's talk some numbers here, because that is going into a legality area, and you want to kind of stay away from that as far as possible. All right, that was a little long. Going on to number 5, though. Painting or drawing a catalog codex of fantasy mythical creatures. And this one, actually, you're going to have to really use your imagination. However, using your imagination as well as you can use picture references for this. And, like, for example, if you want to actually do like a catalog series of drawings and paintings, illustrations of werewolves, satyrs, fauns, fays, blah, blah, you're going to have to make some composite images of amalgamation, where you have like a picture of a wolf and a picture of a man. And you're going to have to use your Photoshop skills or whatnot in some studies to combine those two bodies together, those entities together. Same thing with the satyrs. Satyrs is a face of a goat and a lower body of a man. Face of a goat and a lower body of a man. Fawns is a face of a man and a body of a goat. And so you're going to have to go into amalgamating and composing those together, perhaps even using like a quick app like Photoshop, a mix is what I use on my iPad and my iPhone. You can use that, and I will tell you guys, it's a really quick fix to really getting your point across. So it is a quick fix to that. So moving on to number 6. Number 6 is painting or drawing animal references, like straight animal references from Unsplash and Pexels, whatnot. So these are just straight on animal references from you know, the particular websites that I've just mentioned. You know, if you're not really into, like, if you're just like a beginner, look, and you're not really interested in doing landscapes, and you're just like, oh, I just don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I'm a beginning artist. I just really want to solidify my fundamentals in drawing. Please do go to Unsplash Pexels and start like a series of drawings of animals, straight on animal references. You can do a wolf series, a fox series, a woodland animal series, a hawk series. I love drawing. I love wolves and hawks and these like large birds, whatnot, you know, that are just very majestic, whatnot. And I will tell you that that's a really good way of honing your skills, setting the foundation, getting the trajectory going on for, like, say if you want later on to do like some mystical creature drawings, and because you're not at a point where you can actually amalgamate the werewolves and the satyrs and the fawns and two entities together of two different types of forms of animal bodies together. This is a great way of getting a beginning to do this before you get to the mythical creature drawing. Just doing straight on animal references. No complexity about this. No fuss, no frustration. It's just straight on. I'm getting my fundamentals about this. I'm building my portfolio. I'm putting this on Instagram. I'm building a following. There you go. I mean, this is a really great way to start. Cats, dogs, whatever your preference is, go get it. Very easy, very simple. Number 7, our 7th way of avoiding artist block is going into study mode. Study mode. What I mean by this is that you're painting or drawing a master copy work, like from an artist like Caravaggio, Rembrandt, Velasquez, Titian, Rubens, John Everett Millay, J.W. Waterhouse. And what are all these guys have in common? All these guys are no longer around. Their works are more or less public domain, meaning that you can use their work for copy studies. I've done this with a lot of Rembrandt, with a Rembrandt painting, and just to kind of get the flow going. I will tell you, a lot of students from atelier conservatories, they do this as well. They're the first year students, from what I understand, is that they actually do copy study paintings or drawings from the great masters. And because they really don't have any references or anything else to compare their work to, you actually are going to draw from the great masters, paint from the great masters. And I will tell you, this is what has happened historically, from the Renaissance to the Baroque period, the 18th century, the Victorian period, that a lot of students in a lot of the atelier classes, and even now, they painted from the masters. And that's how they became great painters and artists themselves, is by doing this. And this actually is a great way for you to just to fill up your sketchbook, for you to hone your heels, just like the straight on animal reference pictures. And you are building up your skills. You are creating your resume, whatnot. And so this is something that is a really, really great thing to do. A really great thing that's just going to really kind of just build your skills and craftsmanship as an artist. Okay, number 8. Painting or drawing your favorite artist, musician, or other famous person. Now, this is something that you can do that I have seen a lot of intermediate to advanced artists do when they're just like in kind of like a slump and they just don't know what to do next after they've done like some commissions or they've done some series. Like, oh, you know, what do I do next? And like, oh, I'll take a picture of like, I don't know, their favorite musician, you know, their favorite rock musician, who have you, whatnot. Oh, paint a picture of Eminem. I don't know. I know. Whoever you want. And you can do this. That's a great way of building up your resume and building up your viewership, your following on Instagram, whatnot. However, in doing this, guys, please, I know there are a lot of people who do that. I do this, you know, but there's sometimes where there is a photographer, a really famous photographer who took this picture, like Annie, what's her name, Leibovitz. She's a really famous photographer of like famous people and artists and celebrities. You may want to stay away from a lot of the photographers, like the really famous artists who are very well known photographers. There's some photographers like, you know, you want to kind of stay away from those references because going into the legality area, you want to kind of stay away from that. However, if you go to like Getty Images or iStock, or there's Getty Images, I think there is like a membership you have to pay to, like, I'm not really sure. Please follow that up. And with Getty Images, I don't use Getty Images, but this is what I heard, that you can actually get a membership of just using the references for celebrities and whatnot, or musicians, and painting your favorite artists. If you want to do that, I would actually strongly suggest you check that out if you would like to go that route in doing that. But there are some that you don't have to actually really do that. You can actually just paint or draw the photo still from the film itself. You know, sometimes that's not too like, people are not going to really come after you for that. However, if you start making like millions of dollars off of that image, like if you're selling that, then that's when things get a little bit tricky. So just take care to do your research in that area if you're going to go do that route. All right, number 9, plein air landscape scenes or setup of an interesting still life. And this is actually something that you can do on your own. If you live, you know, and if you are a hiker, if you're a camper, if you are an outdoorsman, you love taking walks, you loved the scenery that's around you, instead of just like getting someone else's photography or whatnot from, you know, Unsplash or Pexels, go out, experience the wilderness or the rural area yourself, and take your camera and just take buttloads of pictures. And this is actually a clear, known way that this is my artwork. I've taken this picture. I'm drawing this picture. I set up this still life. I'm going to draw it. And it's a straight shoot way of knowing that you are in good hands. There's no legalities that you have to worry about. You can make it as creative as you want. And you will not get, no, you're not going to go to court for it. But now you are in the clear. So that is another way of, and that's number 9. And number 10, our last one, last but not least, number 10, painting or drawing, or this is a work on type of method of keeping yourself out of artist block. And that is doing anatomy poses, anatomy studies. And this one, you guys, is actually includes nudity. You can use yourself, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your significant other, your friends, someone who actually would not mind actually kind of dropping it like it's hot into doing anatomy studies, whatnot. Because I will tell you, like professional figure models, whatnot, they do charge by the hour, and they tend to be quite expensive. If you don't have that type of money, I would just actually maybe, if you really, really want to know about anatomy, your pose and whatnot, just do a selfie. Go for it. Do a selfie portraiture. If you can do this on your iPhone, you can do it in your camera. Like I said, I mentioned before, your camera on your iPhone or your Android does have a meter on it, and you can actually set up your poses, your lighting, whatnot. This is if you really, really want to go into the area of learning about anatomy. I think the sooner the better with anatomy, because learning about the anatomy and poses and drawing, doing figurative drawing and painting is it really is a base fundamentals that you're going to be able to draw people, and everything else. If you're an artist, it's really good to have this in your back pocket. This is a basis fundamentals. And so I say this, do the sooner the better. And I did this back in college or not. I still am doing this. I do use my husband. My husband is just like an artist's dream model references, because he's really tall. He's like 6'4", and his body is very, very well proportioned. It's just so I lucked out. So all right, that's what ends the video. All right, at the end. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me this week. Please type down. I'd love to hear your comments below. I would love to hear what you think. If there's anything that I miss of any type of ideas that you can, really you can do for to avoid artist block, please type them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope this video helped. Like I said before, please share this video with anyone that you feel that would benefit from this. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a pleasant, beautiful week. Welcoming summer, and be blessed. Awesome. Okay. Bye.